せやったらなんやねん悪い。お前が支配人やと？なんやお前。ケツ持ちちゃうんか。
お見苦しくて申し訳ございません。こう見えても仇です。
どうや神様からのお恵みは。
恐れ入りますが、当店でのお触りや暴力行為はどうかご遠慮願います。
気に食わんちゅうんやったら力ずくで来てみろや。
よく間違われます。ですが違います。
なんやお前、ケツ持ちちゃうんか。この店はヤクザが仕切っとんのかい。
Hello my dudes and welcome back to Minecolonies Shogun. Last episode, of course, we did the colossal wall building around our lower city, and that's all nice and finished for the most part, but it looked really rough around the edges, so I wanted to go back there and do a little bit of decoration. So as you can see here, we've taken the retaining walls around from the original position, and yeah, just basically extended them over. We used some diagonal ones because I wanted to try those out, and they look pretty good. And we've given those buildings up top plenty of room so we can decorate them with trees and things when we get around to that. But also, like we said last episode, we wanted to connect up the two rivers that go between the sawmill and the blacksmith. So that's exactly what we've done over here. There's a cool little bridge that goes over the river, and yeah, it kind of like adds a bit of decoration, and looks pretty nice, I think. Now, that's not it. I also said that we were going to start this episode with a time-lapse of us upgrading the warehouse to level 3. It's one of the last remaining buildings that needs to be level 3 in the upper city, so it was about time we got to that. Now again, upgrading buildings from level 2 to 3 can take a really long time. It depends on how big the building is, a bunch of other factors. Also, when a builder upgrades a building in the Shogun style, sometimes it's a bit buggy. The builder might get stuck. However, there were no such problems with the warehouse. This is fully functional and it went up smooth as butter. Now what's really cool is we get an extra courier's hut with this build. That's going to help because as you get the warehouse up in levels, you increase the amount of couriers you can assign to it. So I think between the courier huts here and the ones dotted around the farm and other places, we've got plenty of room for more couriers. The building itself does look really cool at level 3. It's upgraded these dark oak walls to be paper walls with a dark oak trim, and it's a really cool look. Looks very striking. But also what's really cool is this banner out front. Now a couple of the buildings have these giant flags, and I'm not entirely sure what the reason is for these. If you guys know historically what these might be, then do let me know in the comment section, because that is kind of interesting. But yeah, the building is complete. It looks really good. Very happy with that. So let's jump in and see how much extra storage space this building has given us. So let's take a look. How's it going, Mike Letho? Good to see you. Good to see you. Doing a great job defending the colony. Sakura Fista, Courier Extraordinaire. Honestly, thank you so much for submitting your names because you guys are doing really well keeping this colony up and running. So yeah, the warehouse gets a second floor now. And as you can see, this is a huge amount of extra space. Honestly, oh my god. It's so good when a style creator gives you loads and loads of storage space in the warehouse. It's quite frustrating because some styles really do lack a lot of storage. These things can really fill up if you're not careful. Oh, bless you. Now the couriers are just hanging out by the warehouse, but as you can see, there's no real way to... Oh my god. How have we got so many eggs? That's crazy. But yeah, there's no real way to see how much exact space we have left in the warehouse, but we've got plenty, I think. Yeah, oh man, whoa, look at those carrots and potatoes. So a lovely amount of space. Let's also queue up this courier's hut. It only needs a few bits, so absolutely we'll get, I guess, Sakura, because she's just finished with this. So that's really, really good news. Now the clipboard. Last episode, we clicked on this. And
housing stinks.
what's wrong with the housing? Come on, man. I worked hard on this. Oh man, these guys are never happy. So last episode, we looked at the clipboard and there were 65 requests on here. We've managed to chisel that down. Giving iron to the warehouse was really good. So we've really trimmed up what people are looking for now. And if you look, most of the things here are just things that people always require. Still, I do think it is very good practice to always make sure these are up to date. Now, one of the big problems is I can see poppy, kelp, dandelion, and golden apples and honey bottles, wow, required from our hospital. That means I think somebody has measles. So we really are going to make sure we get these guys the things they need to cure, because honestly, yeah, sick colonists don't get better without these extra things. But there's also a bow, because our archers need bows, and yeah, the framed bamboo. We thought this was something that we'd need in the mine, but it looks like, yeah, we messed that up. We didn't give the sawmill the correct recipe. So let's go around and see if we can fill in some of these requests, starting, of course, with the sawmill. So as we come down here into the lower city, yeah, as you can see, I've added some path, a little kind of bridge. There's a very simple fountain section here. It doesn't look amazing, but we'll come back and decorate this at some point. The river comes down here, joins up with the sawmill, and then flows all the way around to the blacksmith. It looks really cool. We can add some path here, and there's loads of space for decoration like trees, hedges. Yeah, this place will look the bee's knees eventually, but we're always going to focus on getting the colony up and running before we come back for decorations. So over here at the sawmill, and if we go into cutter recipes, we should have the request. Yeah, here we go. So the dark oak planks, that's for the courier's hut. We'll queue that up. Then we'll go back. Likewise, the strip birch wood. For some reason we didn't have that, but now we do. And the final one will be the framed bamboo. So what was this? Ah, it was bamboo planks and bamboo planks. Last time we just put one up here, so this should fix that. Okay, cool. Oh my god, Rory Bear is on fire. It looks like he's stuck on the roof and he is going absolutely berserk up there. He's so mad he's on the roof, but he does look really cool. He's full chainmail now. He's got a samurai sword and a shield. But he is a bit stuck. Tell you what, let's give him a bit of a helping hand over here and pull him out. Did that work? Recall worker. Oh no, looks like he's stuck up there for life. Well, we'll leave him to it. So we want to get our hands on renewable bamboo. And yeah, this is where we're going to have to go through a bit of a chain over here. But it all begins with the plantation. To get the plantation research done, we need 16 compost. Okay, well that brings us around here to our composter's hut. How's it going, Endo, Chief Poo Shuffler? So it looks like Ender is working. There's some petals there, and yeah, they seem happy. They have no open requests. We will upgrade this building, because it doesn't look too crazy to do. A rose bush, we have some of those. We'll get EVBEX on this and queue that up, leave it in the background. But also, one thing we have to be careful of is this guy will make compost. But the compost he makes will automatically go to the farmer. This is why if you want compost for research, it's important to come over to the farm, come over here into settings, and make sure request fertilizer is off. We've already done that. But on your colonies at home, you'll have to make sure you go through that step, because otherwise the farmer will just grab all that compost and yeah, you won't have anything to research with. Now another thing is, we gave the composter the recipe using petals and things. A bunch of berries that weren't renewable. What you're really supposed to do is, at the composter's hut, you're supposed to select leaves. But there we go, birch leaves will say yes, we're also going to say acacia leaves. But how are we going to get the leaves into that composter's hut? Well, that's why we also have to come over here to the lumberjacks and tell them that now it is time to start breaking leaves and using shears. This means that the lumberjacks will go out to the trees and they'll chop down the leaves first using some shears. And it means you'll always have a renewable way to get compost into your composter's hut. So finding items that your colonists have made can be kind of tricky. If we go into the composter's hut, the inventory here already has some compost. Great, that's all we need. But if you can't find it in the hut, it might be in the warehouse. And if you can't find it there, well, there is another way for you to find things. And that is, of course, the partner block to the stash, the post box. If you right-click on this, it can take some time because every single item in the game loads here. And oh my god, there's a lot of items in the game. But if you go over here and type compost, it'll come up and you can request a stack or maybe even just one of this, and it'll find it somewhere in the colony and deliver it to this mailbox. But yeah, now we have the compost. That means we can do the research for the plantation. That's a big moment. The other research that we queued up must have completed by now because yeah, we've spent days literally doing the warehouse. So over here in research, and yeah, 0 of 3. So number 1 in technology, let it grow. Bam, a very big one. That's going to give us access to plantations, unlocks the plantation. But what else can we do? But here we go. No, I know exactly what 2 researches we're going to do. We're going to do Rocking Roll, which is going to get us the Crusher's Hut. That needs 64 stone, and we've got the Stonemason to level 3, so that should be okay. Also, the Flintstones is going to get us the Stone Smeltery. These are 2 very important heavy production buildings, so getting this research done is like pretty up there in terms of priorities. And so here we are back over at the university before night falls, and down technology, yeah, we're looking for Rocking Roll that gets us the Crusher's Hut, and the Flintstones for the Stone Smeltery. What do those buildings do? Well, the Stone Smeltery is for smelting stone. If you don't have another way to do it, it's where the colony will take cobblestone and turn it into regular stone. But it's also a much more important building than that. The Stone Smeltery will also take wooden logs and turn them into charcoal. So it's the absolute best way to get fuel for your colony. The Crusher's Hut is even more simple. It just takes cobblestone and crushes it into sand and gravel. And I think it might crush it into clay, but I don't know. We'll have to build it and find out. Now, we did have a massive surplus of eggs, so how's it going, Gen Endo? We're just going to come over here and take a look at your menu. Where is the menu? Food. Yeah, here we go. At the moment, all we've got is baked potatoes, apples, and carrots. I mean, those are great. Baked potatoes are eaten up to level 4 houses, which makes them actually really good. But we want to remove apples from this list because we need those now to make the golden apples for our hospital. But what I'm really thinking about is we had like a lot of eggs. So maybe there's something we can make with eggs. Okay, so the egg is pretty complicated. The baker can use it because obviously eggs are used in baking like loads. But it also looks like, yeah, the Cookery is the guy that deals with eggs. So the Cookery has a chef. What does the restaurant have? Cook. Right, so there's a difference between a cook and a chef. The cook literally just cooks stuff. The chef prepares meals. So it does look like we're going to need a cookery. Now I'm suspecting that the Shogun style might actually have a cookery embedded in the restaurant. You don't need any research to build a cookery, so let's build the block and see where the cookery actually is, because I'm fairly sure there's a number of buildings that also have a cookery inside them. Aha, now this is very interesting indeed. So it looks like with Shogun style, there is not a standalone cookery. There is no cookery building for you to place down. There's only included a cookery inside the Machiya, so that's like the block of apartments, or in the Wonders Palace. Wow. Well, we're not going to build a palace this episode because holy crap. But I do think we can put one in the Machiya. Now that reminds me, so we have a Machiya over here. It's a pretty cool building, and one of the buildings we actually put the Sifter's Hut inside. Now the Sifter's Hut doesn't make sense up here. Not really, we kind of want the Sifter down with the production buildings in the lower city. So what we're going to try and do is instead replace this Machiya that has the Sifter's Hut with one that actually has the Cookery instead. Oh man, yeah, what an ordeal. Building this building was a real pain, but the Cookery is here now, and it's level 1. Obviously, we want to get this up to level 2 or 3, and the build options aren't too crazy. Again, just more stuff that we can make. No worries. But while we're here, we might as well hire a chef. So who's going to be? Oh my god, whoa. So Icky Vicky Shadow Fox has really good knowledge. Her creativity is only 8, but I reckon this is still going to be really good. We'll hire her as the chef, and let's see what a chef looks like. Okay, yeah, pretty basic. It looks like everyone in the colony kind of wears this grey and brown. Only special colonists actually get colour, because colour's special. Yeah, sure, why not? Just like the restaurant's hut, the cookery does need fuel, so we'll find charcoal and add that to the mix. There we go, charcoal, amazing. Now the recipe we probably want to use the eggs for, I think, is this one here, because it uses Minecolonies onions, so we can grow those on the farm, as well as other onions if we really want to. But this combined with chicken is going to make us egg drop soup, which looks really good. So here it is, egg drop soup. We'll select this. We want to use, I think, probably the Minecolonies onions. Select done, and there we go. But we're also going to give ourselves room to breathe, because you know what? We could also use Pam's Harvestcraft onions, because they're actually easier to grow. Most of the vegetables and fruits that are in the Minecolonies mod need you to grow them in special biomes, which does make sense. That's how real life works. Oh look, it's chicken on the bench. So when we upgrade the farm, we can add onions to that list, and that's something that's going to get made. But for now, baked potatoes are actually fine, but there we go. The cookery is now over here. The sifter's hut has been removed. But yeah, we really wanted to make the mechanic this episode because it's holding us back from being able to build gates. So we've got the research done now, we can probably make the mechanic's hut. There we go, yeah, a block of redstone, which is perfect because we found one the other day in that dungeon. But let's double check and see what kind of buildings have a mechanic inside them. Oh man, yeah, look at this. So the only place for a mechanic's hut is also in a machia. So it's exactly the same problem that you have with the cookery, but it's not really a problem because do you know what? Having one residence over here kind of sucks. You want your houses to be close because look at this. All of our dudes are going home now to where they live and all of them live in here. This is fine for the upper city, but if you're in the lower city, you have to come a long way to get home. So I think what we probably want to do is build a mechanic's hut in a machia down in the lower city as well. So we have 2 apartment blocks, one up here and one down there. Well, okay, let's get some residences and see about putting those down. Let's see if we can find a place for our machia. So I'm not sure where to put this, to be honest. We kind of want this to be approachable for everybody in the lower city. So I think actually up here along this wall might be a good place. We're going to need this machia to actually be bigger than the previous one we had. And the reason why is because over here we're also going to want to have a Fletcher mid, a mechanics mid, and the sifter mid. So that's going to be 2 end pieces and 3 middle pieces. So we'll give it a go. This is going to take me some time to do to put down all these blueprints. But it shouldn't be too tricky. Go back here. We want an end piece for the residence. Oh, you know what? We could also put an enchanter's hut on the end piece as well. That could be good as well. That could be really good because we're going to run out of space unless we start to combine some of these buildings. So there we go, dudes. Sometime later, and I've put down the templates for all of these buildings. Now, they look complete, but they're not complete. I'm using the builder's goggles, which lets me see the finished constructed building, which is really good for placing down the next piece of these multi-structure buildings. But yeah, this is a 5-piece build. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it features an enchanter's hut, a courier's hut, a Fletcher, a mechanic, and a sifter, not to mention a whole bunch of housing as well. This is going to be really good, but it is getting late, so I better have a sleep. Oh no! Buckle up, cowboy! There's some darn raiders coming from the south tonight? What? That doesn't make any sense. What does that even mean? Are we getting a cowboy raid? Well, there's only one thing for it. I'm going to put my samurai helmet back on, remove those builder's goggles. All of these have been assigned to the builders, so they will come over and start work on those, and we can time-lapse that once we finish this raid. But oh my god, let's go and deal with these fools. They're coming from the south. That means down here. Now, there's no actual gates out here yet. The whole colony out this side doesn't have a way in, so we're going to have to meet them before they break through the walls. So let's see what we see. Ah, here they are on the map. I see them now. They're, oh my god, fighting them in the cornfields is going to be really tough. The visibility down here is not great. Oh, here they are. Okay, so there's a few of them. Oh my god, there's more than a few. There's a lot of these dudes. But we'll chisel off as many as we can, but we might have to rely on the guards to pick up the slack. Oh my god, there's so many dudes. That's right, scum. Back to the mud. Whew, okay, so we dealt with 3, and I'm still alive. Oh, wait, now there's an archer. Oh my god, I need to eat. Oh! Oh man, that's an embarrassing death, but that's okay. I've got my stuff back. I've lost a lot of XP there, but let's go and deal with these dudes. It looks like they're having real trouble getting into the colony. They don't seem to be able to get up the walls yet. If we leave them for long enough, they will break through. But for now, we're okay. All right, so we're roughly halfway through this raid. Should be a few guys over here. We can pick these guys off, and I think we'll be good. None of them seem to have gotten through just yet, but let's wait and see, because what are they doing? Oh yeah, look at that. He's trying to tunnel up. One of them's tried to dig through, but if we leave him, I reckon he'll get ladders all the way up the side of our walls, which is not a good situation. There's 5 raiders left. There's only 2 here, so I'm not sure where the other 3 are. Have some quick baked potato. Oh, he's got a bow, but it looks like while he's on the ladder, he can't fight back. That's good for us. I wish I had a bow, actually. Oh, he can shoot now. Okay, so 3 raiders left. Where could they be? So I think that's like a new mechanic, but when there's only a few raiders left, you can see where they are. So, yeah, where is he? He's underground, isn't he? There he is. Yeah, we can get this guy. We can get him. Come here, you. No escape. Got him! Yes! And the raiders were defeated. So I think the custom text, we didn't fight cowboys, they were barbarians. I think it just means whenever they come from the south, you get a weird cowboy message. You know what? That's fine. Anyway, raid defeated. Let's get back to base. So yeah, our mission now is to get the Machia built. This is pretty good news because we were always going to run out of housing eventually anyway. Our Machia over here is level 3, and it looks really good at level 3, but it's close to the cap of how many dudes we can get in there. The other Machia that we've built is even bigger, so there's going to be even more room for extra dudes. So I'm going to wait for our builders to finish what they were doing, get them the materials, and let's watch the time lapse of the apartment block go up. So here we go, the Machia build. Now we're only going to get this to level 1. We'll focus on getting it to level 2 and 3 later, but what I really want is to be able to build the mechanics hut, because that's what's really holding us back at the moment. And as level 1 buildings, these are very simple to do. It's just more acacia and cobblestone extra shingles. The only real problem with this build is how long it's taking our builders to actually get all the way over here from the main colony, and that makes me also realize we should probably put a builder's hut in the lower city as well, maybe even 2, to help us build more buildings around the entire colony. Usually by now, in other colonies that I've built, I've had maybe 3, sometimes 4 separate builders' huts, so it makes sense that that's something we should build. But yeah, as you can see, the Machia is now complete. That's 5 buildings all wrapped up in one building. This includes the mechanic, the sifter, the fletcher, an enchanter's tower, and an extra courier's hut, not to mention all of the different residences we're going to get inside this building as well. Really amazing. Let's get in game now, get the mechanic's hut built, and see if we can hire a mechanic. So there we go, yeah, the second Machia. Now when you think about it, right, if this gets to level 5, all of these pieces, then you're looking at, I think, probably around 50 dudes. And so combined with the other Machia we have, I honestly reckon that this is the last residence we're going to do. Also, some buildings even come with residences inside them. So yeah, this will be the last residence, but that's actually really good news. Think about the amount of space we save from having only 2 of these residence buildings. It's actually astonishing. Anyway, the main reason why we even built this thing is the mechanic's hut. There's some trimming up to do around the back here, over near that wall, and also I'm kind of thinking that maybe the corner of this building is a little bit too close to the blacksmith, so he might end up moving the whole thing. So it's in here, and to get this thing to level 1, it's super simple. A block of redstone, 8 bamboo fences, and 1 rags. So we'll get Sakura Baby on that, go and give her what she needs, and this should be pretty quick. So here she goes. This is a very quick build indeed. Look, there go the fences, and that's basically it. Are you done, Sakura? I think that's it. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, so now we can grab a blacksmith. We'll go to manage workers, and it looks like Lyra is the only one who's available, Lyra McGill, but she's also got fairly decent stats for this. So that is very fortunate. Now, what does a Japanese mechanic look like? Oh, cool. Okay, so this is actually a custom skin. You got goggles and everything. Yeah, you look amazing. So, the important thing here is that the mechanic comes by default with iron and wooden gate recipes. Plus, what's really interesting is that they can de-age copper. So if you've got some copper that's accidentally become exposed or oxidized, it will actually de-oxidize it if you really need it. That's pretty cool. But also there are cutter recipes that this guy can do. I'm not quite sure what they involve, but everything redstone is also made here. Oh man, that's really good news. Anyway, let's head back to the tavern, have a chat with Kaito, and wrap things up. Oh man, what a day. What do you think, Kaito? We got another residence built today, the Machiya, and inside it is a mechanic's hut. Pretty cool, eh? Have you got a haiku to celebrate us building the mechanic?
Grease-stained hands at work, wrench twists, engines hum to life, metal sings again.
Very cool, very cool. And
by the way, have you dealt with the Yakuza yet?
Oh yeah, I'd forgotten you mentioned those guys. I mean, are they still there? You know what, never mind. We'll deal with it next episode because they don't seem to be making any problems, so I think we're okay. Anyway, a massive thank you for watching this episode, and until next time, take care.